Hello. Thought I'd try making a video about motivation, and I really want to kind of ask a question of anybody out there, which is the question of like why. So what motivates you, and why do you work hard? Why work hard rather than sitting on your ass and doing nothing all day? Like, what difference does it make? What motivates you? What's the prize? What's the reward? Why does anybody do anything? I used to be very motivated, maybe more than most. I had a lot of ambition. Remember as a kid, just I wanted to be the greatest human being that ever lived. I remember I used to tell my mum, like, because like, why not? Why not just try to be the greatest? Why not just try? I guess it's like when you're a kid, it's just this pure joy of trying to be great. You don't question it so much. My mum was very, she was just happy to be herself. She wasn't as ambitious, but ambitious. But I had all this ambition, and I had a lot of motivation. And yeah, I guess I've done I've been making music most of my life, most of my adult life, and I made a lot of music. And that idea when I was a kid of kind of working hard when everybody else is playing and having fun. I'll be in the workshop, I'll be in the tool shed, just working, grinding, just trying to work. That was always my idea. But I feel like nowadays it's flipped. I feel like I'm a real lazy bum nowadays. I feel like it sometimes, and maybe not in my jobs, but in my free time now, I just do bugger all. And everybody just seems to be working, like everybody on YouTube, at least publicly, they all say that. But it seems to be everybody's just working really hard now, and everybody's doing that. And I've gone the opposite way. I think now I've just slowed right down. And the problem for me, I've always had a problem with motivation. And I watch all these videos about motivation, and I always feel like they never quite get to the point. I always feel like nobody quite talks about the aspects that I have trouble with motivation, which is the question of why. I can never quite answer that question why. Like, why bother? If we're all going to die, what difference does it make? I get caught up in things like this. And there are other things I get caught up in. Another thing I get caught up in a lot is you watch these videos about motivation. These people say, "Oh, if you do A, B, and C, then you'll be great, and then you'll be then you'll be a success. Get high status. You'll get whatever you want." And I see this kind of there's like a ladder, and I sometimes watch these videos and think, well, if everybody does that, nobody's going to be great. If everybody does your advice and gets to this level, then everybody's just going to be in squares in the start again where they were, because they'll all go up the same level. It's this idea of like there's a ladder of status, and it's a system where if you've got a ladder of status, then necessarily there will always be 50% will be the bottom 50%. Even if the entire ladder of society just all goes up and does this amazing effort and goes up, you're still going to have 50% the bottom 50%. And if that's your measure of success, if that's how you're measuring whether you're good or bad and you're ranking yourself by where you rate, it's just this kind of like, it's just this scramble, this societal scramble where everybody's just trying to get on top, just trying to be better than other people. And there's always going to be a bottom 50%. And I always have this instinct whenever I look at that, where I just think, well, I'll just voluntarily go down then. Just if it's going to make other people feel better, I'll just go downwards. And I'll just be the bottom that other people can compare themselves to. So they're like, oh, at least they're not. Because that feels like the nicer thing to do, the moral thing to do in a way. I don't know if it's what impulse compels me to do that. But I think I'm a little bit monk-like. I see other monks do that. Like monks, they renounce life. They deliberately go to the bottom of society. I think there's a bit of an impulse in me to do that. Maybe it's just an excuse to be lazy. It's like, well, I'll pretend that I'm doing the moral thing when actually it's an excuse to be lazy. I don't know. I don't really know. But it troubles me. Like it bothers me when I feel that impulse inside of myself to be better than other people. It feels like a wrong motivation. I don't know. And I question my motivations all the time. There's a couple of others. I mean, there's lots of bad motivations. Like one is revenge, when you just want to prove to somebody, but it's from a revenge point of view. I don't really think that's a good way to be motivated. But there's two other big ones. One, I used to be motivated by wanting to prove myself to other people. Like, I just went through my life, and I had social problems when I was younger, and so I couldn't always express myself, and I always just felt like other people didn't value me as I felt like I should be valued, and I could never quite communicate who I really was, and I felt like I had all this talent inside me, and nobody could see it, and I was like, I just want to, and everybody was just treating me like this kind of person that is a nobody, and I was like, I'm not, I'm a somebody man. And like, so I wanted to prove to them. So I worked really, really hard and I did these great things. And I thought, yeah, now I made all this music and stuff and it's really great. And I was like, now you'll see that I'm like this great person. And really the dream was to get like a Mercury Music Prize award or headline Glastonbury. And then they'd see my worth. That idea. That's one idea. And coupled with that is I think there was also the dream of finding my soulmate, my girl. But that first one, the proving myself to other people, I don't give a shit what people think of me anymore. I don't think. I think I've just gone through my life and I've just started to learn. I've been learning spiritual things and stuff and just starting to learn that you shouldn't really care what other people think. And I've stopped caring what other people think. And gradually now, the idea of just being a nobody and the idea of like an old schoolmate, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm just a cleaner and I do sit on my ass all day and do nothing. And if the thought of them going, oh my God, what a loser. I'm like, I don't care. See you later. Have a good life. I just don't care about that anymore. And the idea of anybody's opinion of me is like, I don't actually care. In that regard, of being just, because especially because it'll make them feel better about themselves. If they want to compare themselves to me, then be like they can feel good about themselves compared to me. So, and things like that, I don't really care about that. And then the trying to get a girl as well. Like, I always kind of secretly, when I made music, it was like a message in a bottle. I was hoping that if I just made beautiful enough music, my soulmate out there would see it and find it and be drawn to me and we'd fall in love happily ever after. But I'm celibate now. I've kind of, over the years, I've always been leaning that way. And now I've come to the point that I don't really believe in love, like romantic love. I know that's probably cynical and that, but I just think it's a trick of nature. And I still love, there's a kind of love, a platonic love of all people, a universal love, men and women, that there's something about that I like. I still love people, but the romantic love part, the whole falling in love and then getting married and having kids, and it just feels like a trap and it feels weird. I don't really trust it. I don't really understand it. And I don't really want it. And so that prize has gone. That's a very weird one because when I say it's gone in my head. It hasn't gone in my heart. Like in my heart, if I was to sit at a piano and write, it's a very tricky one to write now because I used to kind of make music and really, I was really serious about creating something beautiful to send out into the world in that real hope that it would get me this prize one day. And if I did it now, the heart part is there, but my brain would just be constantly telling me this is a false hope now. This is a prize you don't actually want. And it blocks me. That blocks that motivation from working now, I think. So I don't think that's going to work. And so the reward for working hard is like, well, so what's the reward then? And it's tricky because like I feel like huge amounts of mankind's achievements throughout history have been from trying to impress women. Has it? I think so, maybe. But maybe not. It's strange what motivates people because a lot of the greatest human beings to ever live have been single, like Tesla and Isaac Newton, and they seem to just love their work. They're not interested in women. It's weird because like part of my motivation to be celibate, one of many reasons, is because originally when I started coming into this, because I was so focused on music and art and stuff, and I was so focused on my work, that I was just like, I love that more than having this partner. But then now I sometimes wonder whether was my motivation for art really secretly to find a partner? Was that the true motivation? I don't know. I don't think so. But either way, my motivation seems to have gone a lot. in recent years. So motivation, what motivates you? So, I'm not really motivated by trying to attract women, not motivated by trying to prove myself to other people anymore. Or at least I don't really feel like I should be. I don't really want to lean on that anymore. The whole hierarchy thing, status, trying to be better than other people. I don't really want to be motivated by that anymore. And, revenge and other things. Yeah, and then there was this other motivation. There's another big thing as well. Yeah, just since I was young is this meaninglessness. Like, I've always questioned that. Like, why bother if we're all going to die? What difference does anything really make whether I finish this book I'm working on or not? And some people would say, yeah, but it could be this great book and it could help loads of people. And it could. I think it's very unlikely, but it could. You never know. Could make a ripple effects. I think there probably is. Working really, really hard in your life probably just creates a more positive ripple in existence than if you're just a bum and you do nothing. But not necessarily. I don't know. Don't know that for sure, because sometimes people who work really, really hard get miserable. They become very miserable, robotic people. I become quite robotic, whereas when I relax and enjoy myself, I might become a more positive person. Maybe I can give back a ripple, have a slightly more positive ripple then. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? This is the thing. It's like, so why try hard? Now, if I try to answer that question, there's one thing, a little story that when I was younger, when I did my A levels, I got 8 A's and a B for GCSE, which is pretty good. But then my A levels, all this meaningless problem started kicking in all the time. And as I was working, I just kept thinking, what's the point? What's the point? It's just a grade. Doesn't really matter. It has no meaning. Blah blah blah. And when I went to get my results, I opened the envelope and I got 3 C's. And it was instant regret. I felt instant regret because I knew I could have got 3 A's. And I knew the reason I didn't get 3 A's was because I didn't work hard enough. And I knew I could have got 3 A's. And I remember feeling instant regret about that. And then when I went to uni, I ended up getting a first. And it was like this kind of like I just wanted to... I wanted to really prove myself. Well, not prove myself, but I just... I knew what I was capable of and wanted to work my hardest and get those 3 A's. It was instant regret. And I don't want to have that again. I mean, I've wasted enough of my life already. Like, even throughout my 20s and 30s, there were periods where I just didn't do much work, and I haven't been doing much recently. And it's like, I don't want to regret it, and I probably will. But then when I'm in that moment where I'm just not working hard, it's a weird thing, regret, because you don't feel it in the moment, you feel it later. And it's like, well, I wish I could just feel it now. I wish I could feel that regret that I'll feel later. Feel it. If I'm going to feel it later, just give it to me now, and then I'll make the change. I always think about Judgment Day in the Bible and talking about people gnashing of teeth and regret and stuff. And it's like, well, that's just cheating, because you can't just if there's a lesson God needs us to learn, then just give it to us now. Don't give it to us in Judgment Day. When it's too late. Why don't we see it now? But I don't know. So there is a bit of a feeling inside me of like, well, I don't want to regret wasting my time. So maybe I should just work on the book. But I just think I think there's another part of me that's like, all the work that I've done up until this point. Like, I suspect nobody's going to watch this video. Not that this video is good and I'm not expecting people to watch it, but some of my other stuff I've done, some of my music and stuff, there's some videos and animations and music that I've worked on that I've spent like months and months, maybe even years of my life working on, and they get like, 10 views or maybe 100 views and a few likes, one comment, nice art, that's it. And then that's it. And it's like, I like that, I appreciate it, but it's like, what am I doing all this work for? And there is something I get out of it. I get a certain personal pride out of it. It makes me feel better. That is true. Working hard versus this is another argument why for motivation is just sometimes it's just better than not. Like you got two paths inside of you, in front of you. You got the lazy path where you just enjoy your life and just do what you want and don't worry about things, or you got the one where you work really hard, maybe even work like a headless chicken, just see what happens. And it's like of the two paths, the one where you work to your best is probably the better one. You'll probably feel better about yourself. You'll probably achieve more. You'll probably be a little bit more proud. And, you know, you could be wrong about it. Maybe you didn't need to do all that stuff. But when you work hard, you're more likely to feel just better than just not working hard. So sometimes that's like the only motivation I lean on now is like, you may as well. You may as well. But that's not really motivation, is it? That's not the kind of stuff that just drives you. It's like, well, I may as well just try. And it's never enough fuel. It's never enough fuel for me, really. Another fuel that I sometimes have is just the pure love of art and music sometimes. And the writing the book, sometimes I just... see, this is another thing, because a lot of it used to be emotional expression. I used to be a lot more emotional when I was younger, and I just had to get it out of me. And the process of just making art and getting these feelings out of me and onto the page and stuff was always it just felt nice. I don't think I have as much emotion as I've gotten older now. I don't know whether I've either gotten more stabilized emotionally or whether I've just suppressed a lot. Especially in recent years, I've had so much going on with COVID, and I've had all other kind of problems in my life and stuff. And I think I've just started to kind of like just block out emotions and stuff and just suppress because it's just too much. Things have gone on top of me, so that might be part of it too. But the emotional expression part, so I don't really enjoy making art as much anymore. It's like a job now. That's one part. It would be nice to kind of maybe rediscover that. So it used to be the pure enjoyment. But it's something I just do all the time now is play fantasy football. I play this fantasy football game because I love it. It's just really fun. That's what I want to do. If you just ask me, what do you want to do? I just want to play fantasy football. And a lot of people are like that with video games. If you just ask them, what do you actually want to do? And it's like, well, they just want to play video games. It's like, okay, is that a waste of life? Is it? I don't know. I'm not saying it is. Maybe it isn't. But that's what people want to do. Could be good for them. Yeah, motivation. I've lost what I was trying to say there, but yeah, there was something about I can't remember what I was going to say. Just being like, I think a part of what I've lost, the motivation that I've lost, I think is because I think the reward that I thought I was going to get hasn't really materialized for me. When I was younger, I just felt like I was working. And part of it was, again, like trying to find my soulmate. And another part was maybe to prove myself to other people. And then I got to age about 35, mid-30s, and I realised that this goal of love that I thought I was going to find, this prize of finding my soulmate, I've kind of realised it was a false dream, like, you know, the Wizard of Oz or something. It's like it was a false dream, and it's like... so that's kind of died inside of me. And then trying to prove myself to other people as well. It's like that one, I feel a little bit like, I feel a little bit angry. Like I feel as though society I felt like I deserve more for my efforts. And maybe that's a wanky thing. Like that's just a selfish thing to think. But I felt like I deserved more for my efforts. I put in so much. And I look at other people's music, listen to other people's music. I just thought my music was better. And I could see some people getting huge amounts of success for not that great music. And then I was making music that I thought was pretty good and didn't really get much success for. But I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was, you know, better than others and wasn't getting much success. And then on top of that, with the whole, well, I don't want to politicize this, but sometimes I feel like society doesn't care for me or people like me. Sometimes I have certain views and I get kind of like shunted out of society a little bit. So, you know, just feeling like society doesn't care about me, and that prize that I thought I was going to get for making all my art and music didn't come, which, you know, that's just part of life. Life's not fair, maybe, and lots of artists don't get noticed in their own lifetimes. It didn't used to bother me so much, so I may just be making excuses again. Don't know. It could just be because I'm working on a book, and a book is just way harder to work on. It's harder to stay motivated. There's way less feedback. Like when I make music, every song I'm kind of uploading and getting a bit of feedback, and it's kind of a bit of a flow there, and it's a bit more exciting. But with the book, it's just been years and years of just nothing and disconnect, and I don't know. But motivation, though, what motivates people to work really, really hard? Why do you do it? I mean, maybe it just boils down to selfishness and just doing. You work really hard because it just feels better for you, and it's better for other people as well. But it's better for you too. You to just work really hard, so it just feels good. It's just like, why exercise rather than sitting on your ass eating chocolate? And it's like, well, I exercise because I just feel better. I went for a jog this morning, and if I didn't, I'd have a much more lazy day. I'd feel bad. I'd feel like clogged up and bogged down. But when I go for a jog in the morning, the rest of my day just feels better. So that's why I do it. Maybe it's the same with working hard. Just, you just feel better. Still, it's very hard to motivate yourself sometimes. So just to put the pen to paper and start working. Yeah, I had a bunch of thoughts about this, but I was going to organise all my thoughts, but I couldn't be bothered. I just suddenly felt like talking about it today, so I thought I'd make a quick video. Yeah, that's waffly video. But that's my main question, is just to ask the world, if anybody's out there, like, what motivates you? And it's the question why specifically. Because I hear some people talk about it's just fear. The only reason why people don't do things is because they're scared. But I don't believe that, because people will do things that are very, very scary if they have good enough reason to do so. If you're being chased by a lion or something, then you will take very big risks and do things you ordinarily wouldn't. You're scared to do to get away from that lion if your life depended on it. People, it's the why question. You need a good answer to the question why. And I don't feel like I have one. Sometimes I wonder if it might just be chemical. Maybe I'm just depressed. Maybe it's just a pure chemical dopamine lack or something, or whatever that is. I've just got some kind of lack of a chemical. And I sometimes wonder whether some people just have a certain energy, a chemical inside them that it's just an energy and it's flowing. They can't help it. They've got this energy every day. They just want to keep expressing, keep flowing, because they've got this energy. And maybe I just don't have that energy because it's just a chemical genetic thing, and that's it. That's purely it. And I'm the reason my motivation's lacking as I get older is because I'm getting older, and the energy part of me is going. It could just be purely chemical, which I don't know. Maybe I should take some drugs, or whatever. Take some look into it. I don't know, but I don't really want to do that. I want to do it psychologically if I can, but I don't know. Anyway, if anybody's got any tips on how to motivate yourself, let me know. See you later.